Have you ever noticed him watching you when he thinks you're not paying attention? Or the way his voice subtly shifts when he's talking just to you? The unconscious mind doesn't fake things. Even if his words are careful or guarded, something deeper inside him may have already chosen you. What if the man who sometimes leaves you confused with mixed signals is actually feeling something much stronger than he understands himself? Carl Jung believed that our deepest emotions don't always pass through logic first. They show up in small, involuntary behaviors we can't control. When a man feels something real on a soul level, his actions often reveal what his words are still holding back. A lot of women read silence as disinterest, but that's not always the truth. Sometimes, silence carries more meaning than grand declarations ever could. Real love doesn't always arrive loudly. It can quietly reshape how someone thinks, feels, and reacts, long before either of you fully understands what's happening. So how do you recognize it? How do you know if what he feels runs deeper than what he says? This isn't about obvious signs like texts or cliches. It's about the subtle language of the soul, the way someone changes when your presence touches something real inside them. When a man is deeply affected by you, the first thing that shifts is his attention, not the kind that tries to impress or seek validation, but a quieter, more genuine awareness. He begins to notice things others miss. He picks up on your mood even when you say you're fine. He sees small changes in you without you pointing them out. This kind of attention doesn't come from surface-level interest. It comes from emotional connection. You might also notice that he thinks about you when there's no reason to. He brings up things you mentioned before, checks in unexpectedly, or appears in your space without a clear explanation. It's not routine. It's not strategy. Something inside him is pulling him closer, even if he hasn't figured out why yet. Then there's the way he changes around you. Some men are the same with everyone, but not when feelings run deep. Around you, he might seem more open, more real, maybe even a little awkward. That's because genuine emotion doesn't make someone polished. It makes them vulnerable. It lowers their guard. If you notice that he allows himself to be seen differently with you, if his quiet moments feel meaningful instead of uncomfortable, that's not random. That's connection. Another sign shows up in how he starts to care. Not in a controlling way, but in a quiet, instinctive one. He pays attention to your well-being. He wonders if you're safe, if you've eaten, if you're okay. It's not about trying to prove anything. It's something deeper, almost automatic, as if your state begins to matter to him in a way he didn't plan. When that kind of care appears without expectation or recognition, it usually means you've already become part of his inner world. Even if he hasn't admitted it, even if he doesn't fully understand it himself, there are also moments where he doesn't need words at all. His presence says enough. Maybe he hasn't confessed anything. Maybe there are no big gestures or promises. But there's something in the way he looks at you, in how his energy shifts when you're near, in how he can sit beside you in silence, and it doesn't feel empty. That silence isn't distance, it's presence. It's connection without noise. Watch how he reacts when others talk about you. If someone compliments you, notice his expression. If someone criticizes you, see how his energy changes. When feelings are real, even if they're unspoken, there's a natural instinct to protect what matters. The truth is, love doesn't always move through logic. It doesn't always come with clear explanations or perfectly timed confessions. Sometimes it unfolds quietly, through behavior, through energy, through the small ways someone changes without even realizing it. And as Jung suggested, what we don't bring into awareness can still shape our reality. In love, that means someone can be deeply connected to you long before they're ready to admit it, even to themselves. If a man reacts even subtly when someone mentions your name, it means something inside him has already given you importance beyond what he expected. It might just be a look, a pause, or a shift in his expression, but those small reactions often reveal what he hasn't put into words yet. Another clear sign is effort. When feelings are real, effort shows up naturally, not in dramatic gestures, but in small, consistent ways. The way he truly listens when you speak, the way he remembers things you shared long ago, the way he adjusts his time, even slightly, just to be available for you, even how he apologizes when he feels he fell short. These quiet actions speak louder than anything he could say, because when someone feels nothing, they stay still. But when someone cares, they move, they create space, not out of pressure, but because something inside them is already making room for you. There's also something deeper that often goes unnoticed. When a man is truly affected by you, the change doesn't stop when you're not around. His routine begins to shift. His thoughts become less predictable. He might seem distracted, more thoughtful, or even a bit unsettled. It's as if something has been awakened within him and he can't fully explain it. Yet you're there, in his thoughts, in his emotions, in the moments that used to feel automatic but now don't. Carl Jung spoke about how powerful inner images can transform a person, even without direct presence. Without trying, you've become part of his inner world. Whether he admits it or not, you're already there. That's why surface behavior can be misleading. Many men don't express what they feel, not because it isn't there, but because translating deep emotion into words isn't easy for them. If you pay attention, you can start to see beyond what's obvious. You can sense what even he hasn't fully realized yet, that his heart may have already chosen to stay. There's a quiet transformation that happens in a man who's falling in love. It doesn't show up all at once. It's gradual, almost invisible, but incredibly powerful. You might notice him letting go of habits that once defined him. Maybe he used to avoid emotional closeness. Maybe he preferred keeping distance or living entirely on his own terms. But now, something inside him is shifting. It's no longer just about himself. He begins to open space, mentally and emotionally, for someone else. And he's not forcing it. It happens naturally, like he's adjusting to something new that feels right on a deeper level. Watch how he starts to share more of himself. Not surface-level things, but real parts of his story, his fears, his past, his dreams. When a man opens up like that, he's not trying to impress you. He's trusting you. He's allowing himself to be seen without filters, not perfect, but real. At that point, it's no longer about chasing or proving anything. It becomes something deeper, a kind of surrender. And that quiet surrender is one of the strongest signs that something inside him has changed. Jung believed the soul needs reflection to understand itself. And through your presence, you become that reflection for him. In seeing you, he begins to see himself differently. Another detail that often gets overlooked is how he responds to your emotions. Not everyone knows how to handle someone else's feelings. But when a man is genuinely connected to you, he begins to feel what you feel, even if he doesn't realize it. He shares your happiness. But he also becomes unsettled when something is off with you. He might not always have the right words, but his energy shifts. You'll notice it in his tone, in his attention, in how he moves closer, even if he doesn't know exactly what to do. That instinct to be there for you, even without a clear plan, is one of the most honest signs of real emotion. And maybe the most revealing sign shows up when you're not there. Notice how he behaves in your absence. If he brings you up naturally in conversations, if he saves things to tell you later, if you're the first person that comes to his mind when something happens, then you're not just a passing thought. You're part of his inner life. What stays present when you're not around often means more than anything said when you are. This isn't about guessing or overanalyzing. It's about learning to notice with intuition, because love doesn't always arrive clearly. Sometimes it shows itself through small, consistent signals that the soul sends when it recognizes something real. There comes a point where, even without realizing it, he begins to need your presence, not out of habit, but because being connected to you brings him a sense of balance. He may not say it directly, but you'll see it in his restlessness when you're distant, in how he reappears just when you start pulling away, in how he finds reasons, even small ones, to stay connected to you. This isn't about dependence, it's about a genuine bond forming at a level he doesn't fully understand. Jung explained that the unconscious isn't limited by logic or time. When something real takes root there, it begins to shape actions, thoughts, and choices. You'll see this in how he starts valuing your opinion. Even on things that don't directly involve you, he wants to know what you think. Not to impress you, but because your perspective matters to him now. He may also begin to open up about his doubts or insecurities, not because he's lost or looking for answers, but because he feels safe with you, safe enough to be himself without pretending. And when that level of openness is there, it means the walls are coming down. Because love isn't built on certainty, it's built on trust and vulnerability. Another powerful sign appears in how he starts imagining the future. He might talk about plans or dreams, and without directly saying it, you're already part of them. It shows up in small hints, in the way he includes you without making it obvious. Those moments reveal what his conscious mind hasn't fully admitted yet, and you don't need to push him for clarity, because when something is real, it naturally shows itself over time. There's also a shift in how he begins to see you, not just as someone in his life, but as someone essential to it. You'll notice it in how he prioritizes you without making a big deal about it. Even on busy days, he finds a way to show up, not out of obligation, but because he genuinely wants to. Being around you brings him a sense of calm, and that calm matters, because real love isn't just excitement or intensity, it's also peace. It's feeling like you can be yourself without needing to perform or change. When he feels that with you, he begins to see you as a kind of emotional home, not a place, but a feeling. A space where he can relax, be imperfect, and still feel accepted. You might also notice him becoming interested in the things you love. Not because he's losing himself, but because he wants to share in what matters to you. He becomes curious about your world, your thoughts, your passions. It's not forced, it's natural. Jung suggested that when two people truly connect, their inner boundaries begin to soften. That's where real closeness begins. Not just attraction, but a deep sense of belonging that doesn't need to be explained. Pay attention, too, to how he speaks about you when you're not there. In small conversations, in moments you may never even hear about, he stands up for you, not to gain anything, but because protecting you feels natural to him now. Love doesn't always make noise. Sometimes it shows itself through quiet actions no one else sees, and those actions often say the most. So if you notice these things, if his actions, his attention, and his energy consistently move toward you, don't ignore it. You may be witnessing something real, something even he hasn't fully understood yet. Because when feelings reach that level, they don't stay hidden forever. Sooner or later, what the soul has already chosen finds its way into the light. When you finally reach that point where all the signs start connecting, where you look back and notice how much he's changed without even realizing it, where his actions, his quiet moments, and his smallest gestures say more than words ever could, that's when something becomes clear. Real love doesn't always arrive with intensity or loud expression. It doesn't always come with perfect timing or dramatic confessions. Sometimes it shows up quietly, through presence, through care, through a softness that doesn't need to be seen by anyone else. When a man feels more than he understands, his inner world often decides long before his mind catches up. Carl Jung believed that the unconscious carries truths we don't always recognize consciously. It speaks through emotions, through behavior, through patterns we don't plan but can't deny. So if you're noticing these signs, If something in you feels that this connection isn't random, pay attention to that feeling. Trust it. What we often call doubt is sometimes just the mind trying to make sense of something the soul already understands. In the end, what people truly seek isn't a flawless declaration of love. It's that deep sense of connection, that quiet knowing that someone has chosen you without needing to say it loudly. Love doesn't always write itself in big moments. It reveals itself in the small shifts, in how his priorities change, in how he keeps coming back to you, even when logic doesn't fully explain why. Jung spoke about how our deepest connections go beyond conscious awareness. They come from that inner place where we are most real, untouched by fear or calculation. When a man starts reshaping his life to include you, when his energy changes both when you're near and when you're not, when he allows himself to be open with you without hiding behind anything, that's love in its raw form. It's connection before explanation. And if you're still here, still listening, it's probably because something inside you recognizes this. Not through grand promises, but through a quiet sense of truth that feels steady and real. Because when love is genuine, it doesn't force itself. It doesn't demand attention. It simply exists. It becomes something constant, something you can feel even in the quietest moments. Love, real love, has its own language. It doesn't always need words. You see it in the smallest things, in the way he looks at you when you're not aware, in how he remembers details you thought he forgot, in the way his presence shifts when you walk into a room. These small moments may seem insignificant to others, but to you, they carry meaning. And it's not about perfection. Real connection isn't built on ideal images. There can be uncertainty, awkward pauses, even moments of distance. But even within those spaces, something remains steady, because what comes from a deeper place doesn't break easily. Jung described the journey of becoming one's true self, and along that path, we sometimes meet people who resonate with us beyond logic. When that happens, it's not about completing each other, but about walking side by side. That man who feels more than he can express may struggle at times. He might not always find the right words. He might deal with his own fears or doubts. But if you watch closely, you'll notice that his actions often go against those fears. Despite uncertainty, he stays. Even when he pulls back for a moment, he doesn't fully leave, because something deeper keeps him connected. When one person begins to feel like home to another, something shifts. It's no longer about needing someone to fix anything. It becomes about sharing life from a place of freedom. And without trying, you become a reflection for him, not just of his struggles, but also of his potential. You remind him of who he is beneath everything else. That's why the calm he feels with you matters so much. It's more than comfort, it's trust. We only truly relax around what feels safe and real. So if he shows you his imperfections, his doubts, his contradictions, don't mistake that for weakness. It's actually one of the most honest forms of openness he can offer. Many people chase loud, overwhelming versions of love. But what you may be witnessing is something different, something quieter but far deeper. A kind of love that remains even when no one is watching. A love that doesn't try to impress, but simply chooses. There will be moments when he's unsure, when he pulls away slightly, when he questions himself. But even then, something keeps bringing him back, like an invisible connection that doesn't break. Because when something real is there, it doesn't disappear easily. And if you feel this too, if you notice these patterns, you're not imagining it. You're sensing something subtle but real, a connection that goes beyond labels or timing, something that grows naturally without being forced. He might not fully understand it yet. He might think it's coincidence or just attraction. But deep inside, something else is unfolding. Something that makes him think of you, care for you, and prioritize you without even planning to. And if the time comes when he finally puts it into words, it will be because you allowed things to unfold naturally, because you didn't rush it, because you understood that real love doesn't need to be forced. It's not something you chase, it's something you grow into together. Sometimes one moves forward while the other pauses. Sometimes both move in sync without even trying. And in that flow, something meaningful takes shape. Jung taught that the most authentic parts of us exist beneath the surface, in our emotions, our instincts, the things that arise without warning. And love, when it's real, lives exactly there. So, if you see him changing, if you notice his habits shifting, his attention focusing, his energy softening when he's around you, don't ignore it. Those are not random signs. He may not say it yet. He may not even fully understand it. But something inside him has already made its choice. And if you feel it too, remember this isn't happening by accident. You're standing at the beginning of something real, something that can't be forced or faked, something that grows slowly, quietly, until one day it becomes undeniable. And when that moment comes, you won't need big promises. You'll already be moving in the same direction, not out of need, but because you both choose to. Because real love doesn't need to be loud to be powerful. It simply changes everything. What makes this kind of connection so powerful is that it operates beneath the surface, in a place where logic doesn't lead and words often fall short. It's not something you can force, predict, or neatly define. It unfolds quietly, through patterns, through presence, through the way two people begin to affect each other without trying. And that's why it can feel confusing at times, because what you're sensing isn't always reflected in clear actions or direct communication, yet it feels real in a way that's hard to ignore. A big part of this dynamic is timing. Not everyone becomes aware of their emotions at the same pace. One person may feel it deeply, but not understand it yet, while the other senses it intuitively without needing explanation. That gap can create mixed signals, moments of closeness followed by distance, or behavior that seems inconsistent on the surface. But underneath that inconsistency, there's often a steady current that doesn't disappear. It just hasn't fully risen into awareness yet. Another layer to this is emotional readiness. Even when someone feels something strong, they may not be prepared to face it. Past experiences, fears of vulnerability, or a habit of emotional independence can slow down how they respond. So instead of expressing what they feel directly, it comes out in indirect ways, through attention, through care, through subtle shifts in behavior. This doesn't mean the feeling isn't real. It often means it's deeper than what they know how to handle. What's important here is learning the difference between genuine connection and projection. It's easy to interpret small actions as signs of something bigger, especially when emotions are involved. But real connection tends to have consistency, even if it's quiet. It shows up over time, not just in isolated moments. There's a pattern of care, a pattern of returning, a pattern of emotional presence that doesn't rely on guesswork alone. At the same time, it's just as important not to lose yourself in trying to understand someone else's inner world. Feeling a connection doesn't mean you should carry the responsibility of decoding or waiting indefinitely. A real bond should feel mutual in some way, even if it's not fully expressed yet. You should still feel valued, respected, and emotionally safe, not constantly uncertain or questioning your worth. There's also something transformative about this kind of connection. It doesn't just affect how someone feels about you, it changes how they see themselves. When someone starts to open up, reflect, and shift internally because of your presence, it's not just about attraction anymore. It becomes a mirror effect. They begin to confront parts of themselves they may have avoided, and that process can be uncomfortable. That's why sometimes they pull back, not because the feeling disappears, but because it's becoming real in a way that challenges them. For you, the experience can also bring change. You might notice yourself becoming more aware, more intuitive, more in tune with emotional energy. You may start valuing depth over surface-level interactions, recognizing that what truly matters isn't how loudly someone expresses love, but how consistently they show it in small, meaningful ways. There's a quiet strength in allowing something to unfold without forcing clarity too soon. But there's also strength in knowing when clarity is necessary. Patience doesn't mean accepting confusion forever. It means giving space for something real to develop, while still staying grounded in your own needs and boundaries. At its core, this kind of connection is less about chasing answers and more about recognizing patterns of truth. It's about observing how someone shows up, how they change, how they respond to you over time. Words can come later. What matters first is whether their presence aligns with what you feel. And if it does, if there's a steady sense of connection that remains even through uncertainty, then what you're experiencing isn't something random. It's something unfolding in its own time, in its own language, one that doesn't always need to be spoken to be understood. And over time, almost without realizing it, something in you begins to shift as well, not because of what he says, but because of how his presence starts to live within you, not in your thoughts, but in that deeper, quieter part of you that already understands.